Have you ever wondered how Egypt, a land of ancient civilization, has evolved into a modern economic powerhouse? Well, it's a tale as old as time, a story that began thousands of years ago with the rhythm of the river Nile and the heartbeat of its people. Let's cast our minds back to the ancient Egyptian civilization, a time when Egypt was a world leader in many fields. Among these, the economy was a cornerstone. Agriculture was the lifeblood, with the Egyptians harnessing the fertile silt deposited by the annual flooding of the Nile to grow crops. This not only fed the population but also created surplus produce which was traded both locally and internationally. Trade was another significant economic activity. Egypt's strategic location, bridging Africa and Asia, made it an important commercial hub. Goods like gold from Nubia, incense from Punt, and cedar from Lebanon flowed into and out of Egypt, enriching the nation and its people. And let's not forget the role of labor in this economic engine. The ancient Egyptians utilized a blend of free and slave labor. The free laborers were often paid in kind with food and beer, while the slaves, many of whom were prisoners of war, played a significant role in monumental construction projects. Key to all this economic activity was the river Nile. This mighty river provided the water for irrigation, the silt for fertile soil, and the highway for trade. It was the lifeblood of the economy, a natural resource that the Egyptians harnessed to great effect. The ancient Egyptians were masters of their environment, using their resources and their labor to create an economy that was the envy of the ancient world. They built a civilization that not only survived but thrived, creating wealth and prosperity that lasted for thousands of years. Indeed, the seeds of Egypt's economic growth were sown during the ancient times. This was the genesis, the birth of an economic powerhouse that continues to influence the world today. It's a testament to the ingenuity and resilience of the Egyptian people, a legacy that resonates in the modern economic landscape of Egypt. Egypt's economy underwent significant changes with the advent of the Islamic conquest. The shift from the Coptic era to the Islamic era was far from subtle. It was in fact a transformative period that would shape Egypt's economy for centuries to come. One of the most profound changes during this era was the transformation in land ownership. Prior to the Islamic conquest, land ownership in Egypt was largely a privilege of the wealthy and the clergy. However, the Islamic conquest introduced a new system of land ownership where the state became the primary landowner. This dramatic shift resulted in a more equitable distribution of wealth and resources and subsequently, a more balanced economy. But the changes didn't stop there. The Islamic conquest also introduced new trade routes. Egypt, with its strategic geographical location, became a bustling hub for trade, connecting the East and the West. Spices from the East, gold and ivory from Africa, and silk from Byzantium were all traded via Egypt. This influx of trade bolstered the economy and cemented Egypt's position as a key player in global commerce. The impact of the Islamic conquest on Egypt's economy was multifaceted. It not only reshaped the economic structure but also stimulated cultural and intellectual growth. The introduction of Arabic as the official language opened doors for scholars, scientists, and philosophers, fostering an environment of intellectual exchange. This intellectual growth, in turn, had a positive impact on the economy, as it led to advancements in various fields, including agriculture, medicine, and engineering. The Islamic conquest of Egypt was not just a political change, it was an economic revolution. It introduced a new economic order, established Egypt as a vital trade hub, and stimulated intellectual growth. This period marked a major transition in Egypt's economic trajectory. And so, the sands of time continued to shift, carrying with them the echoes of a bygone era, and paving the way for what was to come. As we journey further into Egypt's economic history, we'll delve into the era of the Ottoman Empire and its modernization efforts. So, stay tuned and journey with us through the annals of Egypt's economic growth. The Ottoman conquest in the 16th century brought about further changes in Egypt's economy. With the advent of this new rule, the land of the Sphinx saw a significant shift in its economic landscape. The Ottomans, known for their forward-thinking and innovative approach, brought in a wave of modernization that would reshape Egypt's economic future. The Ottomans introduced several economic reforms that were designed to stimulate growth and prosperity. One of the most notable changes was the implementation of a more structured tax system. This not only helped streamline revenue collection, but also fostered a more predictable and stable economic environment. Moreover, the Ottomans also worked to improve the agricultural sector. They introduced new crops, improved irrigation systems, and encouraged the cultivation of cash crops like cotton and sugar, which later became important export commodities. In addition to these reforms, the Ottomans also focused on diversifying Egypt's economy by introducing new industries. They established factories for producing textiles, weapons, and other goods. This not only helped to reduce dependence on agriculture but also created jobs and stimulated economic growth. But perhaps the most significant impact of the Ottoman rule was the modernization efforts that set the stage for the 19th century economic boom. The Ottomans initiated a series of infrastructural developments, including the construction of roads, bridges, and ports. They also encouraged trade and commerce by establishing marketplaces and promoting local businesses. These efforts not only helped to strengthen the economy but also transformed Egypt into a key player in the regional and global trade networks. In essence, the Ottoman rule in Egypt was a period of significant economic transformation. It was a time when old systems were replaced with new, more efficient ones, and when the seeds of modernization were sown. The Ottomans not only brought in reforms and introduced new industries, but also laid the foundation for a more diversified and robust economy. These transformations laid the groundwork for Egypt's entry into the modern era. The Ottoman rule was a crucial chapter in Egypt's economic history, marking the transition from a traditional agrarian economy to a more diversified and modern one. The changes brought about during this time continue to shape Egypt's economy even today. The 20th century was a pivotal time for Egypt's economy, marked by British occupation and subsequent independence. As the century dawned, Egypt found itself under British control. The British administration, prioritizing their own economic interests, introduced policies that primarily served their colonial objectives. The agricultural sector was significantly transformed, with a shift towards cash crops like cotton to feed Britain's booming textile industry. While this brought wealth to a few Egyptian landowners, it also led to a significant increase in landless peasants and widened the wealth disparity. The British occupation also brought about infrastructural developments, including the construction of the Suez Canal, a key trade route that brought in significant revenues. However, the benefits of these developments were skewed, primarily serving the interests of the British Empire. As the winds of change swept across the globe, the struggle for independence in Egypt gained momentum. Nationalistic sentiments were on the rise, and in 1952, the country finally broke free from the shackles of British rule. Post-independence, Egypt embarked on a journey to reform its economy. The government, under the leadership of Gamal Abdel Nasser, implemented a series of socialist policies. Land reforms were introduced to address the inequalities of the past, and the Suez Canal was nationalized, redirecting its revenues to benefit the Egyptian economy. Additionally, the government invested heavily in industrialization, aiming to reduce reliance on agriculture and create jobs for the growing population. However, these policies also led to a ballooning public sector and an economy heavily dependent on state control. Towards the end of the 20th century, Egypt began to shift towards a more market-oriented economy. The government initiated economic liberalization policies, encouraging private sector participation and foreign investment. These reforms marked the beginning of a new era, setting the stage for the modern Egyptian economy. The 20th century set the stage for significant economic changes in Egypt. The journey from British occupation to independence was a tumultuous one, but it shaped Egypt's economic trajectory, laying the groundwork for the challenges and opportunities that the country faces today. The modern Egyptian economy is a mix of challenges and opportunities. As we step into the 21st century, Egypt grapples with a new set of hurdles while also capitalizing on fresh prospects. The impact of globalization has been profound, opening up avenues for trade and investment, yet also posing considerable challenges. At the heart of the modern Egyptian economy are its major industries: agriculture, manufacturing, and services. Agriculture, once the backbone of the economy, has taken a back seat to the burgeoning manufacturing and services sectors. However, it remains a vital source of employment and sustenance for a large section of the population. Manufacturing, on the other hand, is a dynamic sector, producing everything from textiles to pharmaceuticals, and contributing substantially to Egypt's gross domestic product. The services sector, particularly tourism, is a significant contributor to the economy. The ancient pyramids, the bustling bazaars, and the tranquil Nile cruises continue to draw millions from around the globe, providing a steady stream of revenue. But the sector isn't without its challenges. Political instability and security concerns have, at times, cast a shadow over this vital industry. But Egypt's modern economy isn't just about its traditional sectors. The country is making strides in the digital arena, with a growing tech startup ecosystem and a burgeoning e-commerce market. Yet, these new opportunities come hand in hand with challenges. Infrastructure gaps, a volatile political environment, and economic inequality are just a few of the hurdles that Egypt must overcome. Despite these challenges, the country is showing signs of resilience and adaptability. A series of economic reforms, aimed at liberalizing the economy and attracting foreign investment, have started to bear fruit. The journey of Egypt's economic growth is a testament to the country's resilience and adaptability. It's a journey that's far from over, and one that promises to be as intriguing as the country's rich past.